living the dream of entrepreneur because I quit my day job less than half a year ago. I have a book advertising business. This is my bulk of my income. I'm a business coach and I have 19 books out there. The subject is personal development. Mostly they are based on my own experience, whatever I studied, applied, and then tested on myself. As Jim Rohn was saying, be a student, not follower. So I usually have this approach that, okay, some things work, some not. And in my books, I provide a range of tactics and pick something for you because my life is not your life. So not everything I could apply, you can.
You're absolutely right. I love how you said that your life, my life is not your life. A lot of people feel like once they read a book and it's nonfiction, they're just like, well, this book here, I could follow it to a T and I'll get everything. And if it doesn't work out well, they're going to blame the writer. It doesn't work that way. um, so what made you start writing the book? Or like really like, yeah, right. What made you start writing the book?
Well, actually, what started me to, pivoting from the standard path to this entrepreneurship. I read the book The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It was back in 2012, and I was a miserable cock in the corporate world, and I didn't see any purpose, sense of purpose in my work and in my life as well. Despite the fact it wasn't a bad life. I was working IT. I had a nice family. We've been married for 12 years, had 3 kids. But I felt like something was missing, and it was just existential void. And I tried to fill it with computer games, reading fiction, and the usual stuff, but it just couldn't get away. And when I read The Slight Edge with Jim Rohn's message, success is just a few simple disciplines repeated over time, I was like, it can't be so easy. Like, success is something grand. This was my thinking prior to that. But few simple disciplines, yeah, this I think I can try, and I tried and dived deep into personal development. And one of the first things I did was writing my personal mission statement, like I read in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And during that process, I rediscovered my desire to be a writer. It was a bumpy ride, a few failed projects before I published my first nonfiction book in May 2013. And then I was hooked because, well, people were buying something I wrote. Yeah, that was a great feeling. So the whole journey started 10 years ago, and I already knew that I want out of the corporate job, that IT is not for me. And well, along the way, I discovered what I'm good at, what I can sell to others, and now what I'm loving to do, which is coaching.
That is awesome. You mentioned something, you mentioned the words personal mission statement. And if you don't mind me asking, what does that involve? Because just because you write a mission statement, there's also something you have to do the work to actually achieve those mission statements as well. So if you don't mind me asking, what does a personal mission statement means to you? And what are the steps to actually achieve those missions?
Um, I would compare, like Stephen Covey said, that is your personal constitution. Yeah, so something which guides you. Yeah, one country has one constitution, the other has a different one. Something which guides you toward your life journey. So like a compass. And I would say that's the best metaphor for personal mission statement. And how to reach it? Well, I studied, well, whatever Stephen Covey said, but also studied what Brian Tracy advised about how to write and repeat affirmations. that our subconscious mind only understands present tense, so the personal mission statement should be in the present tense. And my personal mission statement is actually a lot of sentences which are saying something in present tense, like I'm becoming a writer. That was one of the sentences I had back then, 10 years ago. And I would say quite a lot of what I've done in the last 10 years was, some things were really like, I had the right intuition to go exactly to the right level of details. For example, I was extremely shy 10 years ago, and one of my books is about this, how I overcome my shyness. And I knew that I need to become a bit more outgoing, really, to be successful in this entrepreneurship world, because nope, you are not a lonely cowboy. You really need to cooperate with others. That's really when big success can happen. So I knew that, and one of the sentences in my personal mission statement was, "I'm smiling at strangers." Yeah, because that was my like kryptonite. I just couldn't strike a conversation with someone I didn't know. And now I'm doing it like habitually. Every time I see a human being in front of me, I'm like this. Yeah, it's automatic. So I there, in that regard, I got just right into the right level of detail, and this is what I practice. The other were more, I would say, not theoretical, but like not tangible, really. Yeah, because they were about achievement or helping others, and like, or love. Like, love is not so tangible, but it's one of my words in my personal mission statement. I want to learn how to love well. And so in those areas, I'm like iterating toward getting to that end goal. And some of those things, because I did the job the right way, I really deeply thought about how I want to be at the end of my life. I got it just right, and then I went down to daily practice, like this smiling, and 10 years later, yeah, this is my habit, and it really makes my life better, exactly as I designed.
That is excellent. And so I must ask that question because you actually, it's interesting that you said that. And I got to remind everyone that we did go through a period, I'm not sure how it was in Poland, in which you had to wear masks during COVID. So how did you go about smiling at strangers? Because now really you can only see really just your eyes in that aspect of things. So how
Yeah,
did you overcome that
well,
barrier?
if you smile, your eyes smile as well. So, like, I smile behind my mask, and it's really not something, I had to think about. It's a habit, like very automatic thing. Like, I cannot help. I need to consciously step between the trigger, which is seeing someone approaching, and the habit, which is smiling. And if I don't think, I just smile. That's how I, develop the habit, and it's automatic routine, really.
That is awesome. That is really awesome. And you're absolutely right on that. Once you smile, your whole face changes, your expression changes. It lights up your eyes, it lights up every aspect of it. They mentioned that, I forgot how many muscles, I think it's like over 300 muscles like in your face when you smile. So it's a good exercise for your face. So I think everyone should do it a little bit more to show one appreciation and get that workout too. You also mentioned in self-care, and how did that play in your day-to-day life? Because did you see a huge change from, I'll say, 10 years ago up until now? Was there a big change? Are you more happier? the people around you? Did you network a little bit different? The people that you interact with, has that all changed in the way you perceive yourself towards them as well?
It's really uh, it's really a journey. I was once on a retreat, and the guy who led it, he quoted some psychologist who said that the hardest thing, like it's harder to change the image of yourself than to quit hard drugs.
Mhm.
Like, and we know relatively plenty of stories, people who overcame addiction, but changing one's perception, yeah, this is really hard. And I'm work in progress. I'm working with a few coaches, and in every coaching process, whatever it pertains to business or relationship with my kids, or it always comes down to, self-confidence, self-esteem, and those like wounds from youth. So it's work in progress. And yes, like I'm not the best judge of myself, but if you look just at the circumstances of my life, 10 years ago and now. 10 years ago, I had a day job, and that was the only source of income.
Mhm.
And I was pretty invisible. I had close circle of friends, workmates, my immediate church community, family, and that was all whom I was in contact on daily basis. Nowadays I have business people. I have a few people in my team working from all over the world. I would say 3 or 4 countries.
Wow.
And I have friends on like every continent, readers on every continent. On Quora, like over 12 million people read my stuff. I sold over 84,000 copies of my books. My business, it's been running for over 5 years now, I guess. Yes, over 5. And we advertise hundreds of book sales, sold, I would say, 140,000 copies of our customers' books. So yes, the impact is definitely, if you look just at the circumstances. We lived in the apartment in a town. Now we own our own home. Plenty of things changed.
Which is awesome. And I'm very happy to hear that, because you touched on something where I think a lot of people don't understand as well. It's that once you change your perspective of life, your self perspective from negative into a positive, you see nothing, you start to see not just internal image change in yourself, positivity change. You see the people around you start to be a lot more happier, but then also that small increase of financial stability as well, because now you're not really indulging in things that are you're trying to cover up those negativity with, i.e., alcohol, drugs, um, watching and diving into things like social media. Now your focus is on, let me increase my knowledge on reading books. Let me, instead of using my money on drinking, let me use it to buy books, go take courses. Let me use it for investment purposes. And it's very interesting once you do that switch, that you start to see those other gains in life in which we're actually trying to struggle with. But because we have a lot of pent up, I'll say, negativity, or we don't focus on self-care, then we don't see it as much, or we don't see it as a gradual increase within our life. And then now you start to see, oh, okay, I have that financial resources now. Okay, now I could really even more focus on self-care. You could go to those spa days, you could take those longer vacations. You're able to actually, as you mentioned, find love, or if not that, strengthen the love that you have for with somebody. Have that strong relationship with your family, your kids, your coworkers, your network, and so on and so forth. it makes a big difference once you start to focus on self-care, once you focus on self-development, and also overall personal growth. So it's quite interesting.
Yep, so true.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting what you said, because I'm coaching entrepreneurs, and I think all the time that they do not prioritize themselves, but rather business, pursuing something, a next project, and so on, and which is amazingly crazy in their cases, because they are their businesses, like solopreneur. If you fail, everything fails. In case of being an employee, okay, you can be on a sick leave for a couple of weeks, someone else will cover up for you, but it's crazy. But it's the same for everybody. We need to have a functional body, a healthy mind, really to function at high capacity, and it's so neglected nowadays. Like, find a person who sleeps well, eats well, exercise, and hydrates themselves well, like unicorns. But that's common sense. That's the basic everyone should do.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right on that. Like, we're neglecting like those basic necessities of our happiness just to achieve other people's happiness. And that's, unfortunately, that's what the corporate world is. Business, you mentioned your books, and you selling them. If you don't mind me asking, well, shouldn't mind me asking, what's your business called and your coaching business? And also, where can people find your books to purchase and read it?
Yeah, so my coaching business is just me, so it's my personal brand. My books are everywhere, starting from Amazon, but on every digital store, and I guess no paperbacks, it's Amazon mostly. Audiobooks also, like you can find them on iTunes, for example, or Spotify. So all over where good books are sold. My blog is expandbeyondyourself.com, and this is where you can find me, read something. I have a few hundred articles out there. And my business, my book advertising business, it's called Resurrecting Books.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Check it out. I'm pretty sure it has fantastic details on how to focus on personal growth, personal development. Overcoming shyness definitely is huge now. I find that now that people are so behind their phones that they lack that communication skills. And now when you try to do a job interview or trying to introduce yourself to new people, you don't have that communication skills anymore. It's almost like a lost practice. It's pretty bad now, I'll say.
Really, when we are recording, it's 8th of January, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the day when the most people give up on the New Year's resolutions. Why? Because most of us try to be overly ambitious. This is what I struggled with my whole life, 33 years before I read the Slide Edge, yeah? Because I wanted to huge success, grand success, multi-million-dollar company, not just quitting my job and making a living. And life doesn't work that way. It's small, simple disciplines repeated over time. So if you just quit your New Year's resolution, just scale it down to some daily actions, which you can do all day long, like today, tomorrow, when you are sick, very, very small. But when you do it regularly, then it becomes a habit. Not the other way around, that, okay, I will spend half a day in the gym. Nope, no, life, it's not working like that. And even, yeah, your gains will be massive, but only in this short time period. And then you will quit and you will lose everything. It's so much better to follow the way of small, simple disciplines repeated over time, which compound, and then 10 years later you can wake up as an author, entrepreneur, and you will forget about your day job, which is what I wish to everyone who is miserable in the day job. Amen.
We might see a mass exodus of all like corporations. Everyone's just leaving. Everyone's like, I'm leaving. Michal, you said to leave.
Yes, but the standard path is really to side hustle for years before you scale down your 9 to 5, and then like after 5 years I scaled down to half time, then after another year to quarter time, and I clung to that job for 4 long years before I quit it completely. And it's normal, it's common, it's 80% people who are doing that, and those, oh, I just quit my job and made $1 million the next year. Yeah, it's also happening, but it's just a cherry at the cake. It's, oh, sorry, that Polish expression, icing on the cake. It's like, this 1% of people who are pulling this out. The normal path, the standard path is start small, keep doing it. When is the right time, scale down your 9 to 5, and then gradually move into full freedom.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Michal.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.